Good afternoon here from 10 Downing Street with the Honourable Dr. Jocelynne Scutt AO, Barrister Fraser's Chambers, who I'm about to hand over to. Please remember that Jocelynne's work for the last 5 years or more has been pro bono, and that is a unique situation for which we are hugely grateful. Over to you, Jocelynne.
We're here at number 10 Downing Street, first to remember that in 2010, the then Labor government passed the Equality Act. And in that regard, we say thank you to now Baroness Harriet Harman, who at the time was Harriet Harman MP, who was a leading light in ensuring that the Equality Act became law in this country. And we thank Baroness Harman for the work that she has done in promoting women's rights. We also thank the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, for standing up to the Equality Act today against regressive forces. At the same time, however, we now celebrate 40 years of the United Kingdom government having ratified the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. And we must ask the Prime Minister, we must ask the government when CEDAW will be introduced into domestic law so that the rights of women under CEDAW are fully recognised. We also are here to say if the government is in favour of the Equality Act and of women's rights and the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, then these are key to the recognition of the 1950s women's rights in relation to the pension changes that came about through the 1995 State Pension Act and subsequent acts which raised the age of women's pension rights to 65 and then 66. And it was the 1950s women who were the target of that act and who were the target of the implementation. And in that regard, CEDAW, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, was utterly and significantly and profoundly ignored. We ask that the Prime Minister now recognise CEDAW, recognise the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women and its direct relevance to what has happened to 1950s women. We, the 1950s women, are not prepared to sit about and to be discriminated against, to be ignored, to have their rights flouted anymore. The call is for mediation. That is, the government to come to the table with representatives of the 1950s women with a recognised mediation team to ensure that this superating saw the 1950s women's rights in relation to the changes in their pensions without proper notice, without recognition that it was discriminatory on grounds of age, on grounds of sex and gender, and indirect discrimination on grounds of marital status. I therefore come to number 10 to deliver to the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, Prime Minister and First Lord of the Treasury, and to Mr Oliver Towell, the Senior Govt Lawyer, these letters that accompany our petition of 50,000 signatures calling for mediation by the government with 1950s women. The time is now for mediation. The time is to resolve this superating sore that simply must be resolved so that 1950s women's rights are recognised, are no longer being damaged in the way that they are, and 1950s women can be properly recognised for the contribution they have made to this country through all their contributions to the National Insurance Scheme. I now present these documents. Hi, thank you. you.
Thank you so much. Would
That's
you like to
good.
post us some photos?
Yeah. The Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, that is Prime Minister and First Lord of the Treasury, and to Mr Oliver Towle, the Senior Government Lawyer.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
I'll make sure I promise not to receive it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And a reply.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.